What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blade Talk, where I share my ideas, views, and opinions on rollerblading topics. Today, I kind of want to talk about something that I feel like isn't addressed enough, and that's how can we engage the youth and younger generation into rollerblading. I feel that growing up, there was a lot of kids skating. Everyone did it. It was really big in the 90s. So everyone had some kind of interaction with rollerblading. But these days, not as many people interact with it. It didn't blow up as much as skateboarding and BMXing and whatnot for multiple of reasons. And I wanted to address some of those. So I want to start off with the fact that the majority of the demographic of rollerblading right now, as far as like aggressive, is like from ages 30 to 45, maybe late 20s. And that's genuinely, when it comes to sports, pretty high up there. And if you're not an older skater that's already exposed to this and know what we do, then you're a younger kid that's probably like 8-9 years old to maybe 12 years old. And whether you were introduced to it from your parents skating, one of your parents, or an older brother or something like that, but usually relatively pretty young. Now, the difference between that is like the younger skaters, I feel like, are just having fun and trying to have a good time doing flips and whatever grinds they can figure out and whatnot. And then the older skaters are kind of trying to continue to do what we were already doing back in the day. I feel like an issue with that is that leaves a pretty open gap and divide between the two age groups. And I noticed that we're missing, like, from like 12 years old to 17, 18 years old, there are no skaters in that age range for rollerblading. I mean, we were back in the day, but now we're all grown up and we're all doing our own thing. But like, there's a whole demographic just missing. And my concern with that is that if we do not do anything to kind of like bring these kids in or bring these guys in, the sport's eventually not going to be able to have any like growth, because once we all get to the point that we can't skate as much as we can, who's going to follow, who's going to grab that torch and keep moving forward. If there's no 17-year-olds, who are the 9-year-olds going to look up to? I mean, it's all great that you like to know that your kids look up to you and they're following you, but at some point they're going to hit an age where they're not going to want to just look at, hey, dad's skating, hey, mom's skating, and that's my role model. They're going to want to find someone a little closer to their age doing things that are a little closer to what they're into in order to continue doing that. I myself, I'm a father of 3. I have 3 boys, 2 of which are like really interested in skating. One already skates. The other one not so much. He's just more into like visually seeing it. But that being said, my oldest started skating with me, like seeing me skate, and used that and my friends as kind of like a standard and role models and whatnot. But as he's hit an age, he's 12 years old now, and that he's not always going to want to be under me. He's not always going to, he films, he loves filming, but like when it comes to actually physically skating, he wants, he doesn't really want to have his dad on him all the time, which is cool. It's whatever. But it makes me think, like, all right, so how can we keep these kids within this age range, interested and wanting to keep progressing? I've talked in my last video about not really having a ladder to climb. That's one thing that's, I think, is really important, because if a kid at that age or someone at that age or younger person doesn't really have any goals that they can push towards, like, what's going to be the motivation to keep pushing? Everyone says, we do it for fun, but that's great. But we've also been doing it all of our lives. When we were younger, we did have something to push for. You did want to go to ASA. You did want to compete in IMYTA. You did want to get a pro skate. You did want some pro wheels. You did want video sections. These days, a lot of those things are pretty, like, I don't want to say obsolete, but pretty far from your reach. And then, like, as far as interactions, is very minimal. Our community is very small, but there's still opportunities that we can build things to create this. One thing someone brought up today, because I posted something on social media about this, was getting younger generations more engaged and interested in just skating. like recreational skating, wizard skating, rolling around. You can roll around on your aggressive skates. You can do wizard type tricks on your aggressive skates. Mushroom blading dudes do it all the time. Shout out mushroom blading. But like, I feel like we growing up, we kind of like were like drilling aggressive hammers, handrails, gaps, and everything into people, and like trying to show the public like, hey, this is what we do. And to be honest, I thought about it, and most people probably just looked at us like the jackass guys, like, oh, these dudes are fucking crazy. Who's gonna want to do this? That was awesome, but like, okay, it's not going past that point. But I feel like if you teach them to just have fun on skates, that will change, because naturally you're going to develop into trying other things. When we started skating, we didn't start skating with razors on our feet. We didn't start skating with having companies like Mesmer and them. We had certain select skates. You know, I grew up in New York. A lot of us didn't have any money. We did not have cameras. We didn't have any money. So we usually had like hand-me-down Blade Runners from like our older cousins, brothers, and sisters that we would just roll around on. We'd watch Mighty Ducks, play hockey, you know, take out the middle wheels, saw off your brake, and that's how we would learn how to do like grinds on curbs and stuff. But it was all just us just going out, being kids, having fun. You know, like we didn't. I feel like when I was 13, maybe a little younger than that, maybe like my son's age, like 12, 13 years old. Um, when I went out to go skate, it wasn't my goal to like, let me go topsoil this rail. I'm going to spend my whole day trying to topsoil this rail. By no means was that a goal. I loved to skate. I knew that I was going to have my skates on my feet all day. And I liked to roll around. But like, we would do normal kid stuff the same way someone can get on a bike and go ride your bike. You don't have to go do flatland tricks or anything. You just go ride your bike. You want to go skateboard, you can go ride your skateboard to the store, ride your skateboard to school, ride your skateboard to the park, and go do something else, but still be engaging and riding on your skateboard, riding your bike, riding your scooter. And the same thing with skating. I always had my skates with me. You know, I always had a Senate bag that can carry my skates with. I skated to school, skated back home from school, jumped stairs on the way home just because, learned how to roll off a curb because I didn't want to step down every time. But yeah, that being said, you know, just engage in skating, teaching them that skating itself is fun. You know, all the other stuff can come later. All the tricks and stuff can come later. It's not really the main focus. They have so much time. If you're a parent that's getting a kid into skating, don't drill aggressive into them. You can expose them to it, but don't make them feel like if you're not soul grinding curbs, soul grinding rails, and doing all this, that you're not a skater, because that's what's going to deter them and kind of push them away from it to begin with. Not every skateboard kick flips 30 stairs, you know, like you still got to go through the process of learning and having fun. And I think that's something that is lost a little bit in our community right now. Another thing is, you know, encourage them to just have fun and have fun yourself. I mean, if you're skating with someone younger than you, like if they see you're aggravated from trying a trick for half an hour and it doesn't look like you're having a good time, they're not going to want to do that. I mean, I know it's part of the process, but the younger ones aren't going to want to go through that. They want to have fun. So do the little weird, doofy things that we used to look at, like jump over cones, do like little things and just have a good time. It doesn't always have to be like jump, grind, and go, you know, and I think that's important. Like in the world today, kids are doing things that we weren't doing until we were older. They have the internet, they have access to things that maybe they shouldn't have access to. You know, the standards on TV and what's going on in the world is completely different now. You don't go outside and see kids being kids anymore. You know, I don't ever drive past a playground and see a bunch of kids playing and packed and playing handball and baseball and soccer. And it's always just kind of like empty, couple of kids playing on the playground, maybe someone, you know, playing soccer or something like that. But that's it. I mean, that's something that the youth needs. If they're not having that time to be kids and learn different things, they're going to grow up way too fast. They're going to be 15 years old thinking they're 30 and miserable with life and just stressed out. And they don't deserve that. They deserve better than that. And I think that we, as the older generation now, it's our responsibility to try to encourage that, you know? Like, don't go and complain about every little thing going on and you've been skating for 30 years. And because, like, yeah, I get it, because I do the same thing. I have my opinions, but there's a place for that. Like, have that within each other and then figure out ways to change that. instead of just complaining about it, because complaining about it isn't going to do anything. It's not going to make anyone skate. It's not going to get anyone involved in anything. It's just going to push people away, divide people, and nothing's ever going to happen. Another thing is teach our history. I mean, I've talked to skaters that like don't even know who Brian Shima is. Like, you've been skating for at least 4 or 5 years. I mean, you have the internet available to you. You're involved in this thing. You love it. You should know who the people came before you. You should know the things that have been done. And it doesn't mean you have to do those things, but you can appreciate those things, because those are the things that led to it being what it is now. Like, you have to understand what came before you can push forward, so that you know what you're doing and knowing you're going in the right direction. Some people just kind of like, oh, I don't care about the past. I don't care about this. That's not why I do it. It's like, all right, cool, but that's why culture dies. Like, I'm involved in other subcultures too, and I see that even like with like the graffiti community and whatnot. Like, dudes that don't respect the old school. It doesn't mean you have to be old school. Doesn't mean you have to do things a certain way, but at least respect it enough to understand what it was, so you know what you're building on top of. If you don't know what you're building on top of, what are you doing? Like, what are you're just doing your image of what you think, and that's it. And then if whoever doesn't agree with you is just going to be uninterested and go in a different direction, and that's counterproductive to like what most people are trying to do. Another thing with history is like there's so many things that were done that are just forgotten, and so many tricks and sections and milestones and accomplishments that so many different people have had and get no recognition for it, other than like our small community getting a pat on the back or something. And that's not enough, man. Like, it's not enough. I mean, there's dudes that ended their careers on tricks and have it's affected their lives at a young age, and have dedicated their whole lives to just, well, from their until that point, to skating and stuff. And then something happens and that's it. You're forgotten. Companies don't take care of you. No one looks out for you. You got to go find something else to do, and that whole part of your life is done. And that sucks, because then it's like, what are you doing it for? Skateboarders don't think about that. BMXers don't think about that. We've been around just as long. It's new to some people. So I go to the skate park all the time, and people are like, oh, I didn't know you could grind on rollerblades. Like, dude, like, we've been doing this forever, but it's not their fault. It's our fault. It's our fault for letting little things destroy what we loved, and it's our responsibility to pick up the pieces if you want to continue to do it. You got to motivate other people to do it. It's the only way it's going to happen. Another way I think we can keep the younger generation involved and motivated is don't overwhelm them. Don't be like, oh, this is what you can do. You got to go out and do this. And that's what's going to be cool. And that's what's going to get you sponsored. Because honestly, they're not thinking about that. They're just thinking about having a good time, maybe lacing a trick they've been trying all week or something. Don't overwhelm them with everything else that's going on. Don't overwhelm them with all the information that the internet gives us now, because again, back in the day, I had to wait every month and a half for a Daily Bread to come out to read a column this big to find out any information that was going on outside of my little circle. And I would share that magazine with my friends, because I was the only one that had a subscription to Daily Bread. So I would go to a skate session, boom, my homies would want to see the magazine. Or I go to school and lunch period, I'd be passing the magazine around period to period, everyone sharing the magazines, and that's how we learned. Or we'd see a skate video on the B-roll or after the credits or the extra sections. Those are the things that you're going to learn what's going on. It was never like super overwhelming. These days you got things like Instagram, Facebook, and all these things in social media and internet. And it's awesome because like you have instant access to what you love all the time. But at the same time, it becomes very overwhelming and washed out because there's so much of it all the time that your brain just kind of like boop, cuts it out. And that's not good, because that's how you lose interest. If it's very easy to get bored and lose interest when it's just that's all you're seeing over and over and over and over again. Don't overwhelm the kids. Don't overwhelm yourself. Pace yourself and just teach. Like, hey, like maybe it'd be cool to do this. And you can plant the seed, but you gotta let them do it. You gotta let them get comfortable to do it. I've caught myself doing that with my own son, and like there was a point that he was just learning grinds, and it was awesome because I saw how fast he was learning them. But then like it became, all right, you gotta try to do this, and that, and I saw it in his face. He was just like, all right, like I'm just excited that I locked it. He really isn't trying to perfect it right now. But, me being a proud dad, like, I want to see him do good. And then I skate, and I take pride in my skating. So, like, I can see where that can become overwhelming. And he started not wanting to skate anymore. Like, he would still go out and skate with me, but he wouldn't actually skate. He'd either roll around for 5 minutes and then, like, want to film or just, like, chill out. And then, that's cool too. But the other day, I haven't really drilled it. I was like, all right, you skates are there. Whenever you want to come, let me know. But the other day he said, like, hey, Dad, I want to skate. And I think it's because I didn't overwhelm him. I let him do his own thing. He's kind of like seeing things on his own, and he's learning what he actually likes. And I'm there to support him in whatever that is. If it doesn't mean you want to go grind shit, then that's cool. He particularly likes, wizard skating and like parkour style stuff and Danny Beer style skating. Shout out Danny Beer, because you're like my son's favorite skater. But he also likes stuff like that Montre does with the Misty flips and the spins into grinds and technical switch ups. He likes all that, but it's not what he wants to do all the time. So I kind of just want to leave it open for him. Like, I've been skating since I was his age, but to be real, I wasn't doing like top soles and shit until I was like 14, 15 years old, because I decided to take it seriously, or something happened that I was like, all right, I like this more. Let me try a little harder. At 12 years old, you shouldn't be thinking about that. Don't even worry about that. Just have some fun, and do your thing. Another big factor to all this, and again, I have other friends that are parents and skaters and whatnot, and myself, and another big factor is the price point of skates right now. And I understand molds cost money. A lot of the companies that are thriving right now are new companies. Like, it's not like they have all the money in the world. Yes, they're being successful in what they're doing, but it's hard. But in the same token, there are some companies that have been around for a long time and that have the resources to do this. But think of it this way. If you're a parent that has more than one kid and they want to get into skating, to get them a complete pair of skates based on the price point today, average pair of skates is like $300 to $500, more likely $400 to $500. So if you got more than one kid, you're looking at least $800 to $1,000 for 2 pairs of skates for your kids to start skating. And then you're not even sure if they're going to keep skating. So from a parent's point of view, it's like, am I going to drop that much money for something that I don't know if they're really going to be into? And I don't know if they're going to continue to do this. Or my kid already skates, it's time for new skates, and I can't afford it. So now, because I can't afford it, my kid can't skate anymore and is going to lose interest in something they love. And that sucks. I've been in that situation before. That sucks. But I feel like there are companies out there that have the ability to do this, or new companies that have the ability to do this. In order to do this, in order for them to want to do this, we have to get more younger people involved. We have to, and they're interested, but they don't know how to start. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to skate. They're scared of not looking cool, because everyone knows when you start skating, you look doofy because you have this weird balance. Like, skateboarding, the balance is different. So it's a lot less of you like flailing all over the place. It's just you're focusing on where you're standing on the board, and you have your set and you're just balancing. Rollerblading is a full body movement. So like, if you don't know what you're doing and you're like all over the place like this, like people are going to see you like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, I don't want to look like that. It looks like fun, but I don't want to look like that if I don't know what it is. And in order to change that is, you see some kids in the skate park, you see some kids at a street spot that are watching you skate. We've all been there, especially if you skated street in the city. If you see kids engaging and curious, take your skates off and let them put them on. It doesn't matter if they're 10 sizes too big for them. Them putting their feet in a pair of skates and just standing on it and noticing what it takes to do it can really spark something in their brain. They might go home and tell their parents, hey, like, I want to try to get into this. I saw these guys doing this. It looks like a lot of fun, and I want to do this. If they don't ever have that experience, they're not going to know. They're not going to know. I mean, me growing up with my friends, we all shared skates because we were all broke. Like, it really, there was times that like my cousin, like we would go skate and be like, all right, cool. You get 5 tricks, I get 5 tricks. Like, you're gonna put my skates on, and a lot of times they were too small and crushing my toe. You get 5 tricks to try in my skates. Then we're gonna switch, and then we're gonna switch again after another 5 tricks. Like, some people don't ever know what it's like to experience something like that. And I'm telling you, just letting a kid try your skates, sitting down with them and showing them things. Pull out your phone. Now these days, you can pull out your phone and show them clips. Like, I've had kids at skate park. One time in particular, shout out Chris Crowder. Skating with Chris at one of the Thursday night skates, and he had some gods on, and the kids on top of the ramp were like, "Hey man, like, it'd be dope if like there were skates that look like Jordans." And I was like, "Dude, look at his feet." And he saw them. He's like, "Oh shit, that's cool." Like, I was like, "Yeah, man, look up gods," and just pulled out my phone, showed him the Instagram account. Like, "Yo, let's go follow them, check them out." Yesterday, my wife's coworker sent my wife a video of the new Frankie Morales gods, saying, "Hey, like, I think Eric and Sai would be cool, would be interested in this." And she told me, "Well, they know what this is." And her response was sending her friend who does not rollerblade and is a parent a link to the Clarks and Them's collaboration, because her son loves Clark's shoes. Okay, he's probably around like 14 years old, loves Clark's shoes, doesn't know shit about rollerblading, saw the gods, which sparked a conversation between parents, and now is looking at the Clarks. And even though he doesn't know anything about rollerblading, he knows about the Clarks. If he puts those sneakers on his feet, guess what? He's representing rollerblading. That money's going towards John Julio too, which is going to create more avenues to do different shit, like, or he's gonna see the Clarks, like the Clarks, get the sneakers, and like, oh, those skates look cool. Let me do that. That's fun. I can go out and do that, and just start rolling around and just be like, oh, these are associated to Clarks, and grow from there. And like I said, I've said in previous videos, from there you go on their Instagram account, you're gonna see Broscow, you can see everyone killing it, and you're gonna see the community, and you're like, oh, there's something to this. It's the little things, man. It's the little things that count, and I think we overlook that a lot. And a lot of us, I love all my homies, but a lot of us are just trying to hold on to a dream that's gone. And it may be gone in the way of what you thought it was when you were 15, but you can create someone else's dream, and you can help someone else push towards what they want to do and really make the culture move forward, and not be selfish and just focus on whether you're getting free shit or not. Because let's face it, like, right now, being a pro skater just means you're getting free stuff. That's it. You're just getting some free stuff. And some companies, you're not even getting free stuff. You're getting discounted stuff, if that. Some of your favorite pros paid for their pro skates, which is crazy. But that's the world we live in right now. So to have that fantasy thinking like, oh, that's not cool, this and that, like, so what do you want? Because right now we have nothing. And there's tons of people out there busting their ass to create these things. Stop knocking them and get involved. Stop knocking them, because we need this. We need this for it to keep going. I love skating. I'm going to skate until the day I die. My kids want to continue to skate? Cool. If they want to quit tomorrow? Cool. That is on them. But there's a less likely chance of them quitting if they have something to push towards. If they have that support behind them, they have that goals behind them, and they can create these dreams. We had dreams because we had magazines, shows, movies. Like, everyone wanted to be soul skaters from Brink. Everyone wanted their wheels to spin, and like how Chris Edwards' wheels were spinning in Airborne. Like, everyone like has their things that triggered in their brain why they kept going. This young generation doesn't have that. And if we don't create that, it's just gonna die. And I don't want to see that happen. I really don't want to see that happen. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. It was just a topic that was running through my head for a while. I've talked to about a few people. I posted something on Instagram today about that, and I just felt like, hey, let's go a little more depth into it. It's a lot easier to say things than to type things and make it all pretty for Instagram and all that. But let me know what you think about it. Shoot me a comment. Let me give me your input. How do you think we can do this? How can we make these new avenues? What are different options that we can go? I've had some people talk about demos and all that, and that's awesome. It's worked in the past. I'm pretty sure it's going to work now, but there's definitely new ways with what the world has now and what's available to us. New things we can do, whether it's like game show type stuff, video games, different types of events that aren't based on who can throw the hardest trick. You know, just getting people involved. Races, kids like racing and stuff like that. Like little things that aren't even gonna cost any money to do. Just do them. Just do them. I mean, we were living in the projects in Brooklyn doing shit. You know what I mean? Like, and just having fun. None of it really meant anything, but we were having fun and we enjoyed it. And that's part of the things that I loved about my childhood, was being able to do that. But yeah, just if you have any opinions or suggestions, shoot them in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I really want to start doing this more on a regular basis. And yeah, have a good day. Hope everyone can go out and skate. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Follow me on all my social media. And yeah, peace.